The state budget is due June 30th, and last year, or this fiscal year, it was several months late. It wasn't done until November. I know you all remember that. But an important step in the process got underway at the Capitol this week, and that is where we find our Dennis Owens now to explain. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Good afternoon to you, James. How can we forget? It seems like it just got done a little while ago, right before the holidays. But anyway, the House and Senate Appropriations Committee hearings, commonly known as budget hearings, are underway here at the state capitol. That's where they have agency heads come before them to justify their budget requests. For instance, this morning on the Senate side, the Department of Human Services Secretary Valerie Arkush answered questions and will again this afternoon. DHS, the only department that gets a double session of committee hearings because it's one of the largest expenses in the state budget. Conventional wisdom is the budget will be done on time since it's an election year, but at current spending levels, the state has a nearly $4 billion structural deficit, and Governor Shapiro wants to add $3 billion to the upcoming budget. So another budget fight is brewing. Appropriations hearings are round one of that fight.
Show how far apart, the governor's lofty goals are. I always say that the governor's budget address is a wish list, and then we have to get in, the legislature has to get in and actually bring it down to reality. That's something that all Pennsylvanians can work with.
And thus far, no real fireworks in the hearings today that we've seen. But James, I can tell you yesterday things did get a little testy. On the Senate side, state police was answering questions, and a couple of senators very frustrated that state police authorized spending on Governor Josh Shapiro's private home in the wake of that arson attack that happened earlier this year for security measures. But the senators were noting that in the procurement code, state money has to be used for public buildings. There's no language that allows for it to be used on private buildings, so they were hammering on that. So some of these budgets can get testy, and again, it is round one, step one in the budget process. We'll see if they can bring it in on time this year. But what is due on June 30th, when it will be much warmer, begins here when the snow is still on the ground around the Capitol. James, that's the story from the state Capitol. Let's send it back to you.
You know, Dennis, you actually read my mind because I was watching the video of the appropriations hearing from today, and it looked pretty mundane. So I was going to ask you, do they ever get fired up or anything? But hearing what you just said, the answer to that is yes.
Yes, they do. And what's interesting, sometimes you can predict where there's going to be tension and you try to anticipate that and watch for that. And it doesn't happen. And sometimes things just pop up that you don't expect. So that's why I'm here. I actually I'm the geek that likes the appropriations hearings because I think there's a couple of stories in almost every one of them if someone's paying attention. Now, it can be kind of boring to watch. If you're not into it, your eyes could be glazing over. But that's why I'm here, James, to tell you what you need to know.
Absolutely. My eyes never glaze over when you're on the screen, Dennis.
Hi, I'm Eric Finkenbinder from ABC 27, and we're excited to announce the new ABC 27 News Plus app. Live stream newscasts or watch content on demand. This is different than the ABC 27 app on your smartphone. You can check this out at home, and it's very easy to use. With a Fire Stick, go to the homepage, scroll down to search. From there, enter ABC 27. Move over to the apps, and there we are. Click the icon and install. It's just that easy.